U.S. President Barack Obama is standing accused of backtracking from his campaign promises to put America's human rights house in order. Whistleblower Edward Snowden said that shortly after assuming power, Obama closed the door on investigating systematic violations of law and human rights violations like Guantanamo. Snowden is the former NSA cybersecurity contractor who splashed out to the media some unpalatable details of the National Security Agency's electronic surveillance program. He was fielding queries from an undisclosed location in Hong Kong on Monday in an online question and answer session hosted by the website of London's Guardian newspaper at their official website.
The intelligence community doesn't always deal with what you would consider a real warrant like a police department would have to. The warrant is more of a template form they fill out and send to a reliable judge with a rubber stamp.
And now to discuss this further, I'm joined by Dr. Joseph Fitsanakis, Director of King University Institute for Security and Intelligence Studies from Bristol, Tennessee. Hello, Dr. Fitsanakis.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Fitsanakis, is there anything new in Snowden's online call-in? And if there was, what is it that you didn't know earlier about American electronic surveillance programs that you found out after that call-in?
This may sound a bit cynical, but there's nothing new in what Snowden has revealed. I think that every diplomat of every country knows that when they're abroad, and sometimes when they're still in their home countries, are the target of espionage by adversary intelligence agencies. And diplomats that do not know this are not doing their job.
Do you think that Snowden is trustworthy as a whistleblower and a champion of the truth? Would you say he's 100% trustworthy? Can we believe what he says?
I think he's somebody who became disillusioned with his tasks. It's not a particularly rare incident in the history of intelligence. Somebody who, for reasons that at this point remain unclear, became disillusioned, decided to just basically change course. He's not a perfect human being, just like anyone else. He probably has some things there that make his character a bit questionable. On the other hand, what he publicly says sounds quite genuine.
One point in time, speaking of what Mr. Snowden has said, he said that eavesdrop on anybody, including you and me, and even the U.S. president. Do you think that claim is plausible?
Yes, it's technically plausible, especially since the dawn of the digitalization of communications. The mass surveillance of users of all kinds of cell phone technologies or even landlines has become much more possible. And if you have the right authorization and the right access to certain types of equipment, any of these things are possible.
Now, provided the NSA can really wiretap anybody it chooses, does it take an everyday person like me to have anything to fear from this? I mean, do I have to worry about this? Do you worry about it going to sleep every night or dialing the phone?
Well, yeah, the thing is, the NSA is a very large organization. It's the largest American intelligence agency. It's bigger than the FBI and the CIA combined. Some say it's the largest intelligence agency in the world. We just don't know. But the fact is that even the NSA does not have the numbers of people that are required to spy on every single, on targeting individual people, unless they're high-value targets. And so what they rely on is automated ways of trying to sift through the information they collect on a daily basis, which is massive. So unless you're the kind of person that keeps using very sensitive keywords or trigger words that might attract their attention, the argument goes you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Now, of course, we have had examples in American history when people who have done perfectly legal things have been targeted, often illegally. For example, during the time of the Vietnam War, when many anti-war protesters who were perfectly legal, exercising the constitutional rights in the United States, were targeted by the FBI.
President Obama actually went on the air and spoke about this issue, and he went on to say that really only people who were really worthy of a serious amount of suspicion were actually had surveillance on them. Do you think that President Obama is really, I don't know, how does the public really responding to President Obama's explanation of all of this? I know that his ratings have gone down a bit.
Yeah, his ratings have gone down a bit. I'm not sure it's directly connected to this issue, though. I think what happens in the United States right now is everybody's reacting to this based on political allegiances. So most Democrats are supporting the president. We have a few that are not. And most Republicans are making a big deal about this. The fact is, Obama is actually continuing a policy that began in the United States right after 9/11 by President Bush, who basically allowed the NSA through various means to direct its arsenal to inside the United States, because according to American law, the NSA, just like the CIA, is not supposed to operate inside the United States and target American citizens. And so what's happening here is that we're seeing this kind of change of paradigm that began after 9/11, when the President of the United States, Bush, now Obama, is allowing the NSA to use its formidable arsenal to spy on American citizens.
We didn't have these kind of revelations, though, when Bush was president. Maybe it was, perhaps it was the fact that, 9/11 was just, a fresh occurrence, and people were quite, sort of scared by it and were willing to sort of, allow anything. But we still didn't have those kinds of revelations. Why now are we having these revelations?
That's an excellent point. I think the reason for that was that America was more united, more scared of potential terrorist attacks. And so many of those people in important positions, significant positions inside the government, were not willing to spill the beans. Right now, after over a decade of the war on terrorism, many of those people who have access to this information are becoming more and more disillusioned. And so they're more willing to speak out about what they see as the persistent constitutional violations. And so a lot of people were willing to give the government the benefit of the doubt for the first few years, but now people are becoming, I think, more and more skeptical about the continuing violation of constitutional liberties.
Right. Thank you so much. I've been talking to Dr. Joseph Fitsanakis, Director of King University's Institute for Security and Intelligence Studies, Bristol, Tennessee.